come sit with her. Queens over, they ain't similar. World changer women, we be feeling them. All around the world, they be screaming now. She gon' be like
Specifically, you said the guy was talking about transcending sex. But in general, you cannot transcend anything through repression. You have to transcend through expression.
Yes, that quote really hit me.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I've felt all my life but never been able to articulate. Do you know what I mean? I'm the kind of person who
has to express.
Has to so important for me to express. And any time I feel repressed, anytime I feel repressed, it really hinders me. Do you know what I mean? Holistically as well, mind, body, and spirit. I can't do nothing.
Are you paralyzed? Or?
I'm paralyzed is a good phrasing. So when I read that, to transcend, you need to express, not repress. That gave me a bit of life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it just always reaffirmed what I feel already.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know. And here's a question I might want to ask you if I can think how to form it. It's like, I feel like for a lot of the times, like especially speaking on your friend you just mentioned, and obviously me, for a lot of the time, most of us don't trust the natural course our mind, body, and spirit is taking, and we retract based on what we've been taught, what we've learned, what we think is the norm. Do you know what I mean? In all parts of society, whether it be health and lifestyle, education, spirituality, relationships, like in all those facets of life, it's like I feel like we hinder the natural course. What's that been like for you? Is that something you've had to deal with?
Oh, absolutely.
You're just cool with it?
No, absolutely. I mean, it comes in different forms. There's some areas where I express without boundaries, and then there's others where I conform completely. I didn't start expressing myself in art, literally painting, drawing, until I was a full-grown adult in grad school, when I gave myself permission to do that. And that was because when I was younger, I wasn't socialized to believe that there were more careers in art other than being a person on the street trying to sell their art.
In Venice Beach.
Yeah. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
Of course not.
If that's where you want to go.
That's beautiful, yeah.
But
not in your family.
It wasn't that being creative wasn't encouraged. It's just find a job so that you can do that. It was treated as a hobby, not as something you have to do to get things out for yourself.
Yeah.
I think too, and just to go back to the idea of sexual repression, I think when you have this good girl socialization of like what makes a good girl, what makes a bad girl, it always toes the line on what she's doing sexually. Like that's gonna determine whether she's good or bad.
So true,
So I think just about every girl in the United States, I can't speak for the rest of any other part of the world, I think just about every girl kind of comes into her own later than she probably would had she just been free to play the way boys are.
What do you mean play?
Just be okay in their body and their feelings, their urges, and being able to express that with another person, understanding that it can be very serious, but that it doesn't have to be either. It can be a playful thing. Boys are allowed to play sexually very early. It's the idea of a little boy running around naked, but you better clothe the baby girl, But the little boys run around with no clothes all the time.
But in the guy's defense, it's the same. I know what you mean. It's even more for women and earlier. Yeah, right? Because even as a man right now, I could take off my top and everyone, including yourself, would be cool with it. No one would really be like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas you can't do that. You can do that.
I can, but I have to be okay with everything.
You got to be okay, exactly.
Yeah.
So I get what you're talking about. It's much harder for women in that realm of things, because of how society sexualizes us all. I think, and I feel like, see, when you talk about play and sexual expression, I agree, but I want to make it clear as well that it's not just about physically having sex with someone, sexual expression is even something like it's just being able to, you know, without fault or without hindrance, explore your body.
Yeah.
And express with your body in every part of your body.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's something as simple as dancing. Mm-hmm. That's why, you know, African people seem to the world a lot more sexualized and a lot more like, you know, have this mad sexual energy because dance is such a big part of our culture and our livelihood. Right. We put our whole body into everything. Do you see what I'm saying? All the organs, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like even me, like something that was really encouraged in my household was dancing, was entertainment, expression, sing, dance, like act, write a play. Like that was encouraged. Like we would have competitions in my house for that. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that plays a part in the way we relate with people today. You feel me? Mm-hmm. You know, all of those things are important for social connections. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's deep. Like when we talk about sexual repression, it's not just someone's inability to have sex good or inability to show their body or whatever. It's deeper than that. It's even their ability to communicate with people. I know some, you know, a really good. Have you watched Chewing Gum?
I only saw, I think, the pilot.
Okay, that's fine. But Chewing Gum's a great example of this. Her whole thing is she's been sexually repressed for her whole life, but via religion. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And so she's coming of age now where she likes and is attracted to guys, but her mind is fighting her body. Mm-hmm. Her mind is fighting her body's natural course. Yeah. Not that she needs to go out there and have sex with everyone, but she wouldn't even feel to do that if earlier on she was just able to express and, you know, and allow that sexual energy to be. Do you know what I'm saying?
But sometimes having sex with everyone is a part of that individual person's journey and expression.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't have any judgment attached to it either.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that because you said she wouldn't feel that way. We don't know that. Like even if she had early.
What do you mean? So that she wouldn't feel what way?
That she wouldn't feel like she had to go have sex with everybody. Is adding that word into it makes it an issue, but like we don't know that a person won't feel like they want to have sex with other people, even if early on they were affirmed about their body.
Okay, do you know why I say that? From my personal experience, the reason why I even love Chewing Gum is because it's a caricature of, not even a caricature in some sense, but it's a very deep reflection of what I've seen growing up with girls. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of the girls who, funny enough, were very open and very like just allowed, like go out and just do your thing. Like the parents didn't hold them back from, you know, they understood things very early on in life. Mm-hmm. Yes, they may have had sex early, some of them, right? But it's usually they get in long-term relationships and it's like they're cool. It's like they understand how to communicate with men. They understand that if a man does that to them or compliments them or go, hey, you're right, like it's not the end of the world. And whereas other girls who spent their entire adolescence growing into early adulthood being sexually repressed, it's like I'd be like, hey, what's going on? And it's like it's a big thing for them. Yeah. You know, like what, I don't know if you saw it in Chewing Gum, and the guy can be like, hey, and she'd be like, hey, like because it's like you're fighting even an ounce. Yeah. Even an ounce. And so what happens is it's like a pendulum, right? If you keep, repression does this, if you keep pulling something back this way,
it's gonna swing hard the opposite.
By the time you look, this is like all the way. By the time you let go of that, boom, it's gone to the opposite. And so that's what I mean is she wouldn't feel like to have sex with so much people. Like what happens is a lot of these girls go to the polar opposite of what they were taught to be, which is, you always hear it, even a lot of preachers' children. It's like you grow up and it's like, oh, they used to be in the church and now they're out here, she's got tattoos, you know, he's having sex with everybody, like he's having sex with men now, or he's doing this, that, It's like the total opposite of everything your father or mother told you not to do. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. And for me, like, I've never done anything like too wild. I think I've always been on the balance side of things. And I genuinely feel like because my upbringing has been so liberal in a sense, I wasn't brought up in any, you know, orthodox religion or any type of religion. We was taught to be very spiritual, you know, and always, you know, appreciate family and always give thanks and appreciate life. That's what we was taught. There is a God, that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, we had the Bible, Quran, everything in our house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so there was no emphasis on a particular place or a way in life we need to go, you know, and we were taught to express ourselves. That was expression in my house was more important than education. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
I feel like expression is its own education.
I'm not saying it is, but tell that to the rest of the world, because they don't hear that.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously not evident in school. So what I'm saying is I feel like that's what's made me and my siblings quite balanced people in that way, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. How was it like for you? Was you like brought up in any strict kind of way that you had to rebel against, or was it kind of just...
It wasn't super strict. I think I attached myself to strict ideals that weren't necessarily enforced. But once, I think as a kid, I had a personality that said the moment you set a rule and that rule made sense to me as to how I saw myself, then I would attach to that rule and I would repress myself. So like when I was younger, I was very much, who was I going to associate with based on how I saw myself? So I would not associate with everybody based on that.
Okay, so today you feel like, you know, I'm a Christian, so I ain't trying to hear what, you know, you Africans are saying over there, or you know, Muslims are saying over there, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
It's never been that
specific.
With regard to spirituality. It was just whatever view I had of myself, which was some vague something of this, whatever I thought a successful, smart, capable black girl was supposed to look like when she grows up, didn't do these things over there. Okay. So she didn't associate with them. She didn't make them feel bad, because I've been friend of many but beholden to none. I've never been cliquish that way. Yeah. So I knew plenty of people and everybody was cool with me because I never judged anybody for the decisions they made. I just didn't associate. The moment it went in a direction where it compromised how I saw myself, I now go the opposite way. So if that is a form of repression, and I think to a degree it was for me, it's something I put on myself based on some ideal that came out at some point. I do think that my parents, if we're talking sexually, they would say to us, or not would say, I think it happened one time where it's like, yeah, you wait until marriage. And that was the extent of that. But
just so you know,
but there was
Lauren,
no religion attached to it. There was no because God said so, or because Jesus said. It was just like, because it was sweeping it under the rug of not wanting to have to talk. Not yet. You're too young right now. We don't want to talk about it.
They still think you're too young.
You're you haven't even had your cycle yet. Like, let's not. Let's wait until
it's so funny how young your parents think you are, like your whole life, like.
And so it's like, okay, that seems to align itself with who I see myself becoming. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. And then you get along the line, and you're like, oh, but I like this person. Yeah. What do you do when you like this person?
I know, y'all didn't talk about this.
I'm feeling things, and so
I'm feeling things.
And so my mom, without me having to say that to her, she's just like, we talk about everything. So she comes to me one day and we're in the car driving from the Target or something, and she's like, you know, if you start to feel like you have sexual urges for a boy,
she was going for your phone.
You know, talk to me. Talk to me.
She was reading that all over you. She's like, I know that look.
And
it's the same look I get your daddy.
I laughed uncomfortably because we just never really talked about sex.
That's crazy. That's good though.
I laughed uncomfortably, and I'm like, why? So you can stop me? And she laughed and she said, kinda. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I'm not gonna tell you.
She messed up.
So when there was the opportunity to say, not necessarily stop you, but to talk about what all comes with that, she missed that opportunity. But I just think she wasn't prepared for the level of where it could go and where I was. Had I already done it? She didn't really know yet.
Had you?
No.
Oh.
And when I finally did, I didn't feel any shame attached to it because I've never been taught to feel shame attached to it. Like I said, I didn't grow up in the church or anything. So didn't feel any shame attached to it because I was like, I legit feel like I love this person. I may be puppy love or whatever, but I legit feel like I love this person.
It was right for what it was like.
And it felt like the right thing.